Hello everyone, this is Adnan with another video on Microsoft Azure hands-on labs. And in this lab we're gonna work on Azure Active Directory, and we're gonna find out what is Azure Active Directory. In general, Active Directory is a service that provides us authentication. It's an authentication service. If you're coming from a system admin background, you already know Active Directory is an authentication service in which we create users and passwords and then attach resources to the Active Directory so that users can log in and use the resources according to their access. Now, where is Azure Active Directory used? Azure Active Directory is already in use with all of these commercial applications. So if you're a Skype user, if you're using OneDrive or Outlook account, you're already part of Microsoft Active Directory. In Microsoft Azure, if you own a subscription, we can control the access of all of the resources by using Active Directory. But also, all what we need to do in Active Directory, we need to create an account, and we can to that account we can set up appropriate access for that resource, and user will be able to use the resource. Now, do we have to install Active Directory within Azure? No, Active Directory Azure is already part of your subscription, but all what you need to do is just to create an account and then assign access. So let's do that in the lab. So I'm in Microsoft Azure, and within Microsoft Azure I can go to Microsoft Active Directory right from here. I can type Active Directory here, or I can go here and I can find Active Directory right here. So you can, once you open Active Directory is part of Microsoft Azure, and in here even with a free subscription, or if you have a paid subscription, you will find Active Directory service, and here you have a lot of options. So we will start with a very simple example here. The simple example is to create a user and assign access to a resource. Now, when we create a user in Active Directory, we can create two types of users: new user and new guest user. So basically, new user is an option where this becomes an Active Directory user. The user will be created inside this Active Directory, and you will manage the user. You will manage the password and the user authentication process. Whereas guest user is you can also create a guest user, and in this case, you don't have to maintain the user password. It will be maintained by the by any other application from where you're bringing in the user. So for example, by using guest user, you can register a Gmail user, a Hotmail user, or any other application users within Active Directory. In that case, you don't have to maintain the password. The password will be maintained by the user's organization. So in this case, let's create a user first. And so this is the main purpose of Active Directory, where we can create a user. Let's take a scenario. We need a username. Let's say we create a user called Ali, and we will provide the full name as Ali Khan. And so first name, and here you want to generate a password. So this will be a user created in Active Directory. So I'm going to provide a password so that I can remember. So this password, so this will be a temporary password that will be given to the user. Now, the first time when user logs into Azure portal, user will be asked to change the password. Remember that Azure Active Directory is basically used to authenticate against all of the cloud resources. Azure Active Directory is not used for basically the resources that are on premises on a physical environment. In a physical data center, we have Active Directory. So there is a difference between this Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and the normal Active Directory. And in another video, I'm gonna show you what's the difference between the two and how do you sync between the two Active Directories. So here we are creating a user, Ali Khan, to provide access to any other resource to use the resource according to appropriate permission. So we created a user, and here we can make this user part of different groups. Here we don't have a group, but most importantly, roles. So for now, all of the users are part of the user role, and user role doesn't have access to anything. In here, I can make this user part of application developer role or the DevOps developer role. And here, if you want to make this user part of the global administrator role, you can go down and you can go here, and global admin is actually the highest level of permission that you can give a user, so that user can administer everything. So for now, I'm not going to make him part of any group, and I will create the user account here. So here I'm just going to cancel this. Now here, block sign in. You can block the user's sign in when the user is created, and this is for the purpose of, let's say you created a user in advance and user will be joining your organization after 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks you can basically enable the user. Here I'm going to provide the title, and the title will be, so this is DBA, Database Administrator title, and he's part of IT department. So I'm just going to add this and create the user. So likewise, I'm going to create another user within Active Directory, and here I am creating another user. So this user will be, so I will make him global reader access. So here I'm going to make Dave. So full name, Dave Adams. And here I am going to provide a password. You can auto-generate a password as well. So password is created. He's now part of any group, and this user is a title cloud admin. And I'm going to provide him access on subscription level. So this will be part of IT department, and he will have access to subscription level. So okay, so we have created 2 users. Now let's see how we can work with these 2 users. So number one, I will, in order to log into to the portal, what I can do is, so you can go to the user account, and within user account you can assign roles. Remember that we haven't assigned any role, but here you can assign different roles to the user. In the profile you can reset the password, revoke session, delete the user, and here you will get some statistics here as well. You can also edit this information with address and everything, and authentication method. We will check these out later. So in the role assignment, we will see that which roles are assigned to the user. So at the moment user is not assigned to any roles here. We can also add administrative units, we can also add groups, we can also make him part of applications, different application. If you have application registered in Active Directory, here you can allow access to those applications. We can assign license to this user as well. There are different licensing options within Microsoft Azure Premium 1, Premium 2 that has different features. So for example, if this user is a normal user, you cannot enable MFA on this, like multi-factor authentication, to make sure whenever the user logs in, the user will get a code as well. User need also to use a code that he gets on the mobile, then he will be able to log in. That process in which user account, username plus your mobile code is used, that is known as MFA, and MFA is not available in the free license. Here, if you need to have that type of service, then you need to buy a license and assign a license. So at the moment, since it is a free account, you cannot you don't have any other licenses, but user will be able to log in to Azure. So for now, what I'm going to do is we are going to log in with user. So whenever you need to log in, you need to use this full account name. So I'm going to copy this from here, and I am going to open portal in another browser. So, and at the same time I'll open 2 browsers so that we can see both of the users. So first of all, I'm going to go into this other browser so here I have another user logged in, Chris. So I'm going to log him out so that we can log in with the new user. So sign out. And I'm going to also sign out from here, because the browser remembers that which user you logged in before. And now, so here, sign out. So once you're signed out, I'm going to add another user. So use another account. Remember that we copied the password. Remember that full username is required, and next. And here you are going to use the password. That is the temporary password that you created for the first time. And the first time when the user logs in, user will need to change the password. So here and sign in. User will be logging in for the first time. At the same time, we will log in with the other user as well. So I'm going to go back to users and go to Dave Adams. And with Dave, we are going to log in. So I'm going to take his full user ID, and from here I am going to portal. Okay, and so now here I'm logged in with Ali. So Ali and the domain name. So here it will ask us to go to our tour, but we are not interested. So here Ali, since Ali doesn't have access to any resource, that's why it's saying that Ali needs to buy a subscription. But once we give him access to a resource, then Ali will be able to use the resource. So for example, Ali doesn't have access to any of the VMs at the moment. So Ali doesn't have access to any of the VM, and everywhere you go, you will get this message. So let's now give access of a server to Ali. So I'm going to go back to home here, and I'm selecting one of the resources. So in order to do this lab, you can create any VM, and once you create a VM, you just need to go to that VM. So for example, I'm going to go to this VM. I have a virtual machine which is demo VM1, and I want to give Ali full access to this VM. So Ali should be able to manage this VM. Now in order to give access, we always go to IAM. So here I'm going to go to IAM, and within IAM I need to assign Ali with the role. So here grant access to this resource, and or view access to the resource. So here I'm gonna go here, or I can go here, add. So here I'm gonna go to add role assignment, or you can click here, it's the same thing. And here, what type of access do I need to give? Now there are three common access that we always use. Either you want to make him owner, you want to make him contributor, or you want to make him reader. Reader will be a reader, read-only access. Contributor will have full access to this resource, but he won't be able to change any security settings, which means that Ali will not be able to basically change the security or assign access for this VM to anyone in contributor. Otherwise, Ali can do everything, can change network settings, connect settings, disks, add more disks, change the size of the VM, everything. So contributor is like an owner, but he won't be able to make any security changes. Whereas if you want to make him owner, then owner will be able to do everything, also the security changes. So for now, I'm going to make him contributor, and I'll select Ali and save. So Ali has this access, whereas I'm gonna again do a role assignment for my other user Dave, and Dave will be a reader to this VM. So in here I'm gonna make Dave a reader and reader access. You might have a question, what are these other groups roles are there too? These are roles for specific purpose. So for example, monitoring reader or user access administrator. So these are limited access admins. This is why I said the most commonly we use between these, or we create our own roles. So in this case, I'm gonna make him reader, and this will be the user Dave. So Dave and Ali, and if in order to see that who has access to this VM, you can go to role assignment, and in the role assignment you see that Ali Khan is contributor, whereas Dave Adams is reader. So I'm going to go into this portal. I know that Ali is logged in here. When I first time came to this here, it gave me this message. If I go back to home now and go to VM, I still will be able to get only this. So in order to see the VM access, we need to just log back in again. So I'm going to log out and log back in again with Ali one time, so that the security changes to take effect. So here I'm going to log in with Ali with the password and sign in. So I'm signed in with Ali now, and this time you will see that Ali will get a normal portal without that. First of all, he's not getting that message anymore to create a subscription, because now Ali has access to a resource. So here I'm going to go to the VM. If I go to a VM, then Ali should be able to see that one VM that I gave him access to, and if I go to the VM itself, Ali should be able to change everything. So while this connects, I can log in to the other account with Dave. So I'm going to sign out from here and log in with Dave. And in order to log in with Dave, I need to basically get his, I think I copied his name, full name from this user properties, and in here, so first time logging in using the temporary password, and so here, so we assigned a new password for Dave, and Dave won't be getting that Azure message because we already provided him access to one of the resource. So if we go to virtual machine, he will be able to see the virtual machine. He won't be able to see anything else other than this virtual machines, because this user doesn't have any other access other than this. So in here with Dave, you can connect to a virtual machine, and you can restart, stop, and let's see if you can make any changes. So I'm going to go to the disk here and see that a user, if he's able to attach any disk. So here I can see that here you are. Okay, so hold on, let me see any more, because we made him a reader access. So reader access shouldn't be able to make any changes to this running the size. If I try to resize, fail to resize this machine with Dave object, do not have authorization to perform. Yes, so here so you can try to do that, but it will fail because of not authorized. And here I'm logged in with Ali, and with Ali, if I go to the size, and with the size I can go to, so once I'm here I can try to resize, and it's resizing. We won't get that error message. So I mean, it's not resizing, it's resized to, so it's resized the machine. I think so. This one was selected and resized. So I mean, our goal for this exercise was what permissions that we provided to Ali should be able to do everything other than assigning access. So let's check if Ali can add any role assignments here. So if I go to IAM and try to assign a role with Ali's access, and here let's say I want to make Dave a contributor or the owner. Grant full access to manage all the resources, but does not allow you to assign roles in Azure. Okay, so here let me see if I can select this and try to save this. So here again failed, and it's saying that authorization to perform the action, does not have authorization. So Ali can do everything in this VM, whereas Dave is the reader access, so Ali cannot change permissions, whereas Dave has read-only access, is not able to do anything other than just to see the VM properties. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in another